Naked Shamanism. Welcome to With Insights Radio. I'm your host, Iggy Garcia. I will take you on a journey across the universe through shamanism, metaphysical, and holistic. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Hello everybody, welcome to Iggy Garcia Live. It's good to be here, and I am excited about tonight. Hopefully we can spend a little time together and be able to share. My little whistle. The fish whistle. Okay, so like we start every show, we want to give thanks to those who came before us, those who trailblazed and let us go where we need to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here. We're going to start the show. We're going to begin and kind of do what we got to do. So we're going to light a candle and give thanks to those who come before us, giving thanks to our ancestors, giving thanks to the people we love, the people that we care about, those people who they came before us. I mean, they had to do all the things we had to do, kind of like we are now. We have to do all the things to set and prepare the path for the next generation. So this is why we light these candles. This is why we give thanks, and this is why we honor and remember those who knew that somewhere down the line they would never meet us. They knew they would never have a connection with us other than what they leave behind with us, in the stories they leave behind with us. So I'm going to put this here, put it in my, let that burn through the night. And I'm going to light my sage here, my lavender, my sage, my combo. It has a little bit of everything in it, so giving thanks to Mother Earth, giving thanks, setting up the ceremony here we're in. I find that anytime I do anything that's remotely involves a lot of connection with other people, there's a ceremony that's very important. It's very sacred to me. It's very, very powerful medicine. And so one of the first medicines is tobacco. And I posted it, I had sage, and it's ceremonial, and white sage is actually used in ceremony. For those of you who are not familiar with white sage, there's different types of sages and different types of herbs that you can burn. There are certain types of herbs that you just burn specifically when you're doing a ceremony, when you're actually communing with spirit, and when you're there and when you're in contact. There are some traditions that won't allow you to burn sage, white sage, in certain, just to burn it. It's very sacred to them. It's very important to them. There are other traditions that it's not so much, but it is important to know that people come from different backgrounds and different beliefs and different ways of communing with spirit. So we have to honor and respect that, that sometimes people do things a little differently, and we can't really get upset if it's not in alignment with us. Sometimes, the world is not in alignment with you. The world is not always what you want it to be, or how you want it to be, or how you want it to look. So this is one of those things about these herbs, these sacred herbs, these plant medicines. This is plant medicine. And if anybody tries to tell you differently, then they, in my opinion, my personal opinion, they don't know what they're talking about, because this is sacred. When you think about it, tobacco is sacred. It's one of the first medicines. It doesn't have to put you in a hallucinated state in order for it to be sacred and for that to be ceremony. Ceremony is a very personal journey with creation and with Creator. That's what that is. You light, you eat, you are in communion with everything that you are in contact with. So, you look at the state of the world today, it's really messed up. There's a lot going on. And I'm not here to say that it wasn't any different 20, 30 years ago, because I'm sure it was messed up back then too. But it was messed up according to its what was going on in its time. But today, what I'm finding is that we are being pressed to feel, do, respond, or react to things. And right now, I'm a little concerned for the future. I'm really concerned about what lies ahead for us as a species, as humans, as human beings, human doings. There's so much transition, so much happening right now, so much discord that, it's like you're either on Team A or you're on Team B right now. As much as you may not believe that, it is that way. It is that way. Team C is a very small minority, which are kind of playing between both of them. But the majority, the vast group of people are either on Team A or Team B. Team B, you can put any scenario in there, and you can put any situation in there. Team A, or let's just put Team A as the people who are the vaccinated ones. And then Team B, the people who are not vaccinated. And then you have Team C, who kind of has friends on both ends of the spectrum. But what I'm watching now, and it's really disheartening that our people are just cutting other people off because they're not vaccinated. And I'm thinking to myself, there's a lot of people who are not vaccinated with a lot of different things, not just this COVID, situation that we're in. If you understand how the vaccine works, supposedly the virus is not in there. So they're not using the virus, they're actually using new technology. Sort of new, I guess. They finally get to implement it. It's a protein that triggers a bunch of different things in your body. So it really leads me to think, I'm going, wow, that's interesting. How's that work? Knowing most people don't know enough, I don't know enough. And the people who think they know enough don't really know enough. But I'm hearing that, you can actually you can still transmit, be asymptomatic and still transmit the coronavirus to other people or still get corona even after you've been vaccinated. So to me, that's kind of oxymoron. It's kind of like, how can that be? How can that possibly be? I don't know. I'm not here to play conspiracies and theories and whatever, because what's that solve? Nothing. The facts are right in front of us. The facts are right there. Now they're lifting up the restrictions here in the state of Ohio, and now they're bribing people. Just that's the word I'm going to use, bribing people to take the vaccine and win like millions of dollars. And I was like, is this a joke? Is this real? And I'm like, you could take that money, put it into research, put it into something else, but you're enticing people. It's like giving the mouse the cheese. You take its cheese and you move it someplace else, and then the mouse figures out that if my cheese is over here, all I gotta do is find a way to my cheese. So when you move the cheese, the mouse figures out how to get there, right? So why would we entice people to play the pandemic or the vaccination lotto, which I call it now, the vaccination lotto? It's I don't agree with that. I don't think that's right. Because what you're saying is, we can buy you. We can buy you. And if enough people go in and do it, we can buy you. Now, some of you will agree with me, some of you won't, and that's fine. That's just life. You agree or disagree, or you come to the middle. But I don't like that. It says a wrong precedent. That sends the wrong message. That just keeps us in the loop of wanting and needing and just being, just like gambling. It's like buying a lottery ticket or buying and hope you win the $239 million it's up for grabs. So now you're doing it with the virus and the pandemic. I mean, who comes up with these ideas? Who sits at home coming up with these ideas? Who's that person? Oh, we can entice people to go out and get the vaccine. And they're out here and they think they're gonna win $5 million. I don't know, man. I consider myself to be somewhat smart. I may not be the top of my class, but I won't at the bottom. I don't even know what to say about this. I don't even know how to feel about what I read today. And at first I thought it was a joke. I really thought it was a joke. Mike DeWine's like enticing people to go out and get the vaccine, and maybe you potentially win, $5 million? $1 million? $5 million? I don't know. It was $1 million something. And I'm going myself. Maybe you should ask people why they don't want to take the vaccine. Maybe it's because they don't have trust in you. Maybe they don't have trust in the process. Maybe they don't have trust in that. I, for one, don't really trust my government. And when it comes to things like this, especially they think it's what's best for me. I don't know. I have friends who are doctors. I have friends who are naturopaths, and I get all kinds of answers. So you can imagine the answers I get from the questions that I ask them. And they're split right down the middle too, just like we all are. Some people tell me, "Don't do it, Iggy. Don't do it, because you're the clinical trial. It hasn't been approved yet." That's why I had to ask for permission, emergency from the FDA to use these vaccines. I'm seeing a bad events play out on all this. I'm watching vaccine passports, ideas about these kind of things come up. You can't travel here, you can't travel there. When we had the flu, you were sick and you stayed home, right? But no one ever asked me for a flu passport. No one ever asked me, if I had the flu shot. Granted, this is not like the flu, but where's the efficacy of this? Where's there's a propaganda going on right now. They're selling people to go, hey, you know what? If you don't take the vaccine, you're not keeping your family safe. You don't wear your seatbelt in your car, you're not keeping your family safe. Okay, so I don't know. You can take that and twist it however you want. I'm a little twerked off about how everything's happening. And I want to jump around a little bit with topics here because there's so much happening. All of a sudden India has this outbreak, this humongous outbreak of things. And then I talk with friends from India and they're like, well, it's just in poor areas. It's not a big deal. Okay, well, the news here makes it look like a big deal. Of course, the news always makes everything look a big deal when it benefits them. Now this Palestinian and this Israeli conflict, I know they've been conflicting for years and years and years and years. The 6-Day War and all these different things. But what's happening out there? What's going on? We really don't know. I get pictures. I get different outlets on my Instagram or my Facebook feeds that shows people getting run over, people running over other people, the military beating the crap out of people, people stoning people. I ask people's opinion about what's going on. People give their opinions. Nothing changes, I guess. And as long as we're stuck in these ideas about religion, these ideas about my way is better than your way, it's going to be hard to move into the directions that we need to move. I watched a video about mice where they took 4 mice. I think it was 4 mice, or was it 8? Anyhow, they took these mice and they created this utopic society for them. Gave them all the food they can eat, built these little houses for them, everything you could possibly imagine. Then over several years, they bred. Of course, they've had babies and stuff. Eventually, it came to the point where they were overpopulated, and it was just chaos, and there was just too many mice. The female mice were having babies and just abandoning the babies because they had to defend their homes. They had to defend their food source. They had to defend all the different aspects. So the utopian society just went. I'm not saying we have to live in a utopian society, because that may never work for us, because we have to be actively creating, actively, doing things with our mind, our spirit, our soul, building. But I found it real fascinating that these mice destroyed this perfect scenario. It could have been perfect. They just totally rambuncted it and destroyed it. But I guess that's what happens when you're given things and you don't earn things, when you're not given the capacity to develop it in your own way. Where do we go from here? Some of us know, some of us don't know. Some of us are wondering, are the aliens coming? Are the aliens here? We are the aliens we're looking for. You hear all these different things, and I guess I'm at the point where it's like, it's almost kind of a frustrating feeling, because you're trying to adapt to your new environment. You're trying to adapt to this new way of living, because there is no new normal. There's no new normal. It just is. Whatever we thought was normal before was normal for you. It wasn't normal for everybody. So that's we get caught in these semantic verbiage. Oh, it's the new normal. Oh, what was normal is no longer, is no more. Well, there is no such thing as normal, period, because normal is in the eye of the beholder, in the heart of the beholder, the person who believes that. Normal is just a word. We're coming into a time where everything is just different. We're gonna have to adapt. We have to adapt, because everything has evolved so rapidly, so quickly, and that was predicted in the Mayan calendars. When the Mayan calendar was, one of the predictions was that things would be evolving rapidly and quickly and fast. And so here we are, totally evolving at a rate that we probably can't control. It's just the way it is. So what do we do? What do we do? There's a segment of our population that wants to control the other segment. It wants to feed them, sell them, whatever they possibly can have, they possibly would need, because that's the way man. That's the way man works. Man works that way. So the other day, and I'm talking about a lot of current affairs and stuff, or current events. The pipeline was hacked. And I'm thinking to myself, we're the most powerful country in the world. We're the most powerful, whatever you want to call us. And we get hacked by terrorists. They're demanding money. And I don't know how they're going to get money. What, a blockchain? I don't know how they're going to use it. But my point was, it's like, we put too much emphasis on artificial intelligence, too much on computerization, too much on this. In the old day, a guy would climb a ladder. If the valve got shut off, he'd climb up there, turn up the secondary valve, and let the stuff flow. I don't believe we were hacked. Honestly, truthfully, I don't believe it. I think it's a bunch of BS. I think it's just the way rich people manipulate the market, the way they control everything. I don't believe that there was a hacker, because we have no way to prove that there was a hacker. We have no way to tangibly look at it and research it and feel it. The only thing we know is what we've been told, or what we've been disseminated, and things that have been presented to us. That's all we have. That's with anything. Anything that we have is fed to us. Every little piece, every little part is told to us. And it's told by the group that wants you to see their side. Okay, so it's told by the parties that want you to experience or want you to see what they want you to see. Like, for example, there's Israeli and there's Palestinian conflict. If you're Palestinian and your family's getting bombarded or whatever's happening, you're going to have a different opinion. If you're Israeli, Jewish, you're going to have a whole different view on what you're going to see and you're going to experience. Because why? Because it's Team A and Team B, or Team A or Team B, however you want to put it. Depending on what team you're on, you're going to feel a certain way. Now, I'm sure there's people in Israel who feel that what that's being done to the Palestinians is not correct. And I don't know about Palestine because I never met anybody from Palestine that I'm aware of that says what Israel's doing is correct. But I have met people from Palestine who have left Palestine because they feel like it's a cause they can't uphold. And a lot of these people are doctors. They don't want to leave, but they leave because they feel hopeless. They watch their children die because they're human beings. They have feelings and emotions. And I know, and I understand that it's very complicated and it's very dangerous and it's a very fine line when you talk about these topics, because somebody's going to get pissed off, someone's going to get offended, someone's going to be, come across in a way that you're just not going to like it. From what I know, from what I've seen, the Palestinians really don't have an army per se, or any type of foundational system as Israel has. Israel is a little mini power in the Middle East, which has a lot of potential to create a lot of good things, if they choose to. I'm not here to condemn, Israel or condemn Palestine, condemn anybody. Just talking, because not being from there, I don't understand the situation. And everybody's going to come from a pro point of view. And I hope that people can figure out their differences, because if we don't go anywhere. We don't grow as a society. We don't grow as a people. We don't grow. That's where the problem lays. We're not seen. Like, you and I aren't seen as part of that group. We don't belong. We're not associated in a way that doesn't give us the right to call ourselves whatever they want to be called. So when we label ourselves and we put ourselves on a pedestal and we rise to a certain place in society, we say that we are this way and that's the way it is, that brings issues. It's just like, China doesn't want the UN to proceed with certain proceedings because of the way they treat certain groups of people in their country. It's all over. It's everywhere. We have our issues here with the police. We have issues with the cops. We have issues with police brutality. We have issues with rioters and looters, and it doesn't end. It doesn't shift. It doesn't change. I don't know why I'm talking about all this stuff, but I guess it's on my mind. I guess it's in my heart. I guess it's in my feeling as a human being to look at it and go, wow, this is really hard to watch and stomach. I have friends that are like, well, why can't we go help India, blah, 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 Number one, we don't have the resources for it. We don't have the capacity for that. If Bill Gates really wanted to help somebody, he'd take his whole fortune and just invest it in a systematic system to go and inoculate all those who want to be inoculated with the coronavirus vaccine. But would he give up his millions of dollars, his billions of dollars? Probably not. Jeff Bezos? Probably not. George Soros? Probably not. They wouldn't. If they did, I would be shocked and I would be surprised and I would clap and I would say, well, good for you. Because if they are as intelligent, as rich as they say they are, and this is a theory that's always been tossed around, that you could take all the wealth of the people who have money and give it to the poor, in a matter of 5 years they'll have it all back. If that was a true statement, then all these guys with all the money and all the billions, give it to the poor, or whatever you want to do, they should be able to know how to recoup it back in 5 years' time. If that's a true theory. So, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. So let's move on to another topic here, because I'm finding it fascinating, the things that are happening right now. I'm waiting for the cicadas to come out. They still haven't come out yet, but I'm sure they're going to come out. Just got to give them time. Once you give them time, they will be here. The cicada run. I was with my family in Virginia Beach, trying to get to the thing I wanted to share with you guys here real quick, which I found interesting. Then we'll get to the second half of our show, and I'll talk about my closure, my family, and stuff, and all that stuff. So I read this article. I saw this meme, and I thought it was really fascinating. And I've heard this before. If some of you guys have seen Interstellar, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. Here's a theory. If you leave the Earth at the age of 15 in a spaceship at the speed of light and spend 5 years in space, when you get back on Earth, you will be 20 years old. And your friends who were 15 when you left will be 65 years old. This phenomenon is known as time dilation in physics. True story? I joke around. I said, in the future, the person who returned back, there's probably no one there. Everybody's gone. Interstellar, the movie, plays on that a little bit, on how time dilation changes, on different planets because of the size, and on Earth, the speed of light, traveling speed of light, blah blah blah. Those things are very fascinating to me as we begin to explore the universe and start to go outside of our boundaries. And what it boils down to is that time is an illusion. Time is an illusionary thing. The measurement of time that we keep, that's a whole different thing. That's separate from time being an illusion. The illusion of time, meaning, is that we think that we have this much time in front of us. We have this thing that we can't see, but it's there. The measurement of time is us looking at the clocks, getting us to point A to point B, blah blah blah. That's different. But when you start to play the universal game, you travel here, you travel there, then that's when time doesn't really exist. That's when time just becomes a thing. That's why they talk about wormholes. That's why they travel about, bending space and time to get to one point to the next point and be able to come back. Now, the cool thing is, when you travel, you may travel and never come back to the exact same spot where you traveled. I don't know. But either way, I found it very, 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 very fascinating. And I find a lot of things very fascinating. But as a human being like you, like myself, we're curious creatures. We're always wondering and trying to figure out how we're going to do it the next day. But the cool thing about it is, we don't have to live there every single moment. Oh, time is illusion. Blah, blah. We don't have to stay there. If we know that, then fine, we can move forward, move along. So, but we do the best we can in the moments that we are given in this measurement of time that we see and we look at every day. We have calendars, we have dates, we have all these different things. There's a time where you just physically, spiritually know things that you can't explain. It's just that way. But anyhow, as we get closer to the bottom of the hour here, I'm just curious where we're going to end up, how we're going to be, what's going to happen to us, what's the next phase of our evolution as a species, as a society, as a people. What are we going to look like? What are we going to be like? Because right now it's really hard to gauge who we are. It was very, very, very hard to gauge who we are. But I understand that we work with what we have sometimes. We're presented with a set of ideas, and we work with them. The one thing that we all have is the same amount of time on the clock. So we all have 24-hour period to do whatever we need to do. Out of those 24 hours, there's 12 hours that we're probably working. Between 8 to 6 to 5 hours, we're actually doing something. The other half of that, we're either sleeping, resting, or having downtime. So that's kind of where we're at. That's what happens. So I want to shift out of this a little bit, out of this arena a little bit, because I think I said what I wanted to say there, and how I wanted to say it. And so I want to move into the story of my family. Most of you have read on Facebook recently that my family, who had Garcias for 40 plus years, back in, it was my birthday when we opened. It was 12/8/79. And was it 78? No, 78. I'm sorry, my apologies. And it was winter time. I think it was the blizzard time. We had really bad storms in those days. But I remember opening those days. I remember my parents opened that restaurant with like $12 in the register, and that was it. And whatever money they had, they put it into the walls with paint, buying whatever they needed. Excuse me. Buying whatever they needed to make that restaurant run. I remember they would open from like 6 a.m. in the morning, and they'd be closing till like around 11, and they'd go to sleep for a couple hours, get things prepped up, and then they do it again. And over the years, they improved their craft. They got better. But man, they really worked hard. They really worked hard, and they really made money, and they really sacrificed a lot of family time, a lot of themselves, to have a better life from where they came. They did a lot of stuff. They did a lot of crazy things in order to obtain the American dream. That dream of being, having more than they've had where they came from. I watched my parents, blood, sweat, and tears, frustration, crying, angry, inebriated. I watched them go through it all. I watched them go through separations. I watched them go through court cases. I watched my other siblings abandon my family. I watched it all. I seen it all. I watched people in my family pass away. I watched people grow up with us in the business. We met great friends, great people. We had bands. We had belly dancers. We had Macedonian bands. I was part of a band at one time. I watched my parents create new things. I watched my dad break down. I watched my mom break down. I saw it all there in that family business. And the coolest things that I learned is, how to appreciate the small things that you have. And I was very loyal to them. I was very loyal to the business. I was very loyal to the family. And sometimes maybe to a fault, maybe too much. And we sacrificed a lot to make it work. And now, a few days ago, I sold the liquor license, signed away whatever part was left of Garcia's is no longer anymore, put it in safekeeping, and then selling the license. And then watching all that just play out. It was like a dream. It was like a bad dream almost, to some degree. Just as the oldest brother and as the person who took on the responsibility and the liability of that, I got to say goodbye in ways that my siblings weren't capable of. I got to see, and I got to sign that and watch the paperwork go down the line as my family's legacy that they've created was no longer anymore. It only is a memory, feelings and emotions and all those different things. That's all that was left. That's all that remained of my family. Yeah, that was hard. That was really hard. Really, really, really hard. It was difficult. But anyhow, yeah, it's over. The dream and the visions my parents had are complete. They're completed now. Whatever they had in store for themselves has come to an end. My mom died in 2018, my dad in 2019. 10 months apart. Together. But it's no more. It's hard to talk about. I thought I could talk about it. I thought I could express what I'm feeling, but it's hard to find the words right now, what I'm feeling. Because it's a very emotionally triggered and charged scenario and situation. Because it's not that cut and dry and that easy. But I know one thing is, I'm glad I was part of that. I'm glad that I chose to be part of that upbringing, part of that life. Because maybe back then I didn't feel that way, but now it's not so bad. I don't feel so bad about it. I understand that. That was my calling, my destiny, my journey for that moment. And now I have the world in front of me. I can pretty much do whatever I want, I guess. To some degree. Here I am. I'm like, no, there's no voice in my head about my dad telling me you should do this, do that. Where am I at? My mom. Yeah, it's just, it's very painful to say goodbye to that part of my life. Because it is a goodbye. It is an evolution. Stepping out of that. All the hard hours, many hours, when I owned it too. All the hours that I put in, all the work that I put in, myself and my family. And I was not nearly as successful as my mom and dad were. It was a different time, a different era. When I came in there, by that time, there were just way too many restaurants, way too many things. And I'm not making excuses. It was just a different scenario. A different set of circumstances. I don't know. But I'm thankful and grateful for Garcia's International. Like they say, rest in peace, my friends. Thank you for the times, and thank you for the memories, thank you for the food, thank you for the drinks, thank you for the counseling, thank you for all the things that happened, the drum circles, the feelings, the emotions, everything that we all shared together. That's over now. It's done. We always wondered about the families that were there before us. We always wondered the Metzgers, the Agrestis, not the Garcias. I believe there's only 3 or 4 families that own that building, own that business. And now we are probably the final family. We're the final. There won't be any more. Depending on what happens in the situation we're on, depending on what happens to the building, what happens to the businesses, the spaces. Yeah. But anyhow, I guess I'm getting kind of emotional about all this. I thought I could talk about it, and I guess it's really hard. I thought I had more to share about that, and I do, just I don't think it's the time yet. Being the one who had the final say, the final person makes that final decision. Just to finish off those things. But anyhow, well, I'm going to call it a night, guys. I know it's not an hour, but I'm feeling a little down right now. Like, I think I got myself down a little bit about it. Just too much happening right now in the world. It's okay to feel what you need to feel. And I'm going to feel like I'm going to feel right now. Feel tired. Feel like I'm ready to call it a night. And say thanks to everybody for supporting me in my new business, the Salt Room, Serenity Salt Spa, with my friend Sherry, who are working together. Support me in that adventure now that I'm in that. But I think it's I'm done for today. I can't go on sharing. I'm done. There's a part of my grieving there's a grieving going on in me right now that I wasn't expecting to pop out as I did this show. But that too shall pass over time. So thank you, my friends. Thank you, everybody. Ho'oponopono matakuyasan. Irisikwi, it's good to be here. Namaste to all you guys. I hope that you have a beautiful, wonderful rest of the week. Enjoy and appreciate the people around you. Appreciate yourself. Give thanks to yourself for having the courage to wake up every day and do the best you can. Sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes it's real easy. Alright, guys, I love you very much. I'm very happy for your support. And I will see everybody next time on Iggy Garcia Live. You'll definitely see me on the mini podcast, The Mind of Iggy. And you know, I wish that I was feeling better about sharing more things about my life. But it's just really hard right now. So, and I'm glad that at least on this platform I was able to share that. Alright, guys, take care, and I will see you at the next drum circle at Schiller Park at 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock on May 29th. And let's jam it up, let's have fun, and let's work for a better future. Let's work to get better. Let's work to have fun and enjoy the things in life. And I will see everybody next time. Peace out. See you next time. It's good to be here.